Every morning when you wake up, you probably follow a routine. You get out of bed, wash your face, eat breakfast, and head off to work or school. For many of us, these daily tasks are so ingrained in our habits that we don't give them a second thought. But did you ever stop to consider why we do the things we do? What led to the creation of these mundane yet essential parts of our daily lives? Believe it or not, the answers might surprise you. In this video, we will explore the origins of common practices such as shaking hands, having an engagement ring on the fourth finger of the left hand, and saying grace before a meal. Along the way, you'll learn how cultural norms, religious beliefs, and historical events have shaped the traditions we take for granted today. So sit back, relax, and join us as we unravel the intriguing stories behind the everyday habits you do every day. Why do we shake hands? Handshaking, something we do all the time without thinking. It's how we greet friends, meet new people, and seal business deals. But have you ever stopped to wonder why we shake hands? This seemingly simple gesture has a rich history that dates back thousands of years. One theory suggests that handshaking originated from the ancient practice of extending one's hand as a symbol of peace and friendship. In a time when violence and deception were commonplace, this was a way to show others that you meant them no harm. By displaying your empty hand, you demonstrated that you were not holding a weapon and intended only to communicate peacefully. Over time, this gesture evolved into a more formal tradition, often accompanied by a slight movement of the hands, which eventually developed into the handshake we know today. Historians believe that handshaking may have also originated from ancient religious rituals, such as the covenant between Abraham and Abimelech described in the Bible. During these ceremonies, individuals would lay their hands on top of one another, symbolizing their commitment to an agreement or alliance. As these rituals evolved, the laying on of hands became a way to convey blessings, heal the sick, and initiate members into secret societies. This practice then branched out into various forms of handshakes used for different purposes, such as the oath of secrecy among members of the Freemasons, or the ceremonial handshake used to welcome new recruits into the military. Today, the handshake remains a common and widely accepted form of greeting around the world. It is often seen as a sign of trust and mutual respect, and is commonly used in business settings to establish rapport and build relationships. However, the handshake is not without its critics, who argue that it can spread germs and is an outdated practice in an increasingly informal world. Despite these criticisms, the handshake continues to be a popular and enduring tradition that connects people across cultures and generations. Why do we say grace before meals? Saying grace before a meal is a tradition that many of us grew up with, whether it be the quick prayer recited at the dinner table or the blessing offered before a church service. But have you ever stopped to think about why we say grace in the first place? The custom of saying grace before eating dates back thousands of years to ancient civilizations such as the Greeks and Romans, who recognized the importance of giving thanks for food and drink. During the Middle Ages, it became common for monks to recite prayers of gratitude before meals, a practice that later spread to the general populace. In the 18th century, the term grace was formally adopted to describe the customary prayer said before eating. Since then, saying grace has become a deeply ingrained tradition in many cultures around the world. Different religions and denominations may have varying customs and beliefs surrounding grace, but the underlying sentiment of gratitude and humility remains constant. For some, saying grace is a way to connect with their faith and seek divine blessings, while for others, it is simply a moment of reflection and appreciation for the nourishment they are about to receive. Regardless of one's beliefs or background, the tradition of saying grace serves as a reminder of the importance of gratitude in our daily lives. Why do we have an engagement ring on the fourth finger of the left hand? Engagement rings are a symbol of love, commitment, and the promise of marriage. But have you ever noticed where exactly the ring is placed on your finger? Specifically, on the fourth finger of the left hand. But why is it on this particular finger? The tradition of wearing an engagement ring on the fourth finger of the left hand dates back to ancient Rome, where it was believed that this finger possessed a special significance. According to Roman mythology, the finger had a direct connection to the heart via a vein known as the vena amoris, or the vein of love. This belief was later reinforced by Christian tradition, which associated the fourth finger with the four Gospels of Jesus Christ. However, it was during the Middle Ages that the engagement ring really took hold. At the time, it was common for men to gift their sweetheart with a ring as a symbol of love and devotion. And the fourth finger was seen as the most suitable location for the ring due to its proximity to the heart. Furthermore, the shape of the finger was thought to be ideal for displaying the ring, which typically featured a bezel setting that allowed for a larger stone to be showcased. Today, this tradition continues with many couples choosing to exchange engagement rings and wedding bands on the fourth finger of the left hand as a symbol of their everlasting love and commitment. Why do we clink glasses for a toast? When it comes to celebrating special occasions, few traditions are as ubiquitous as the practice of clinking glasses for a toast. But have you ever wondered why we do this in the first place? The custom of clinking glasses for a toast dates back to ancient Rome, where wine was often served in clay cups or wooden bowls. To ensure that the liquid was pure and free from any harmful substances, the Romans would have their drinks tested by someone else. They would pour a small amount of wine into two different containers, one with a straight side and the other with a narrow neck. The person being served would then pour the wine from the container with the narrow neck into the straight-sided one, creating a loud clinking sound. If the sound was clear and resonant, it was deemed safe to drink. This practice then evolved into the tradition of clinking glasses as a way to signify a toast or salute, particularly during celebratory occasions such as weddings or religious festivals. As glassware became more sophisticated, the custom continued with wine glasses being tapped together as a way to express camaraderie and goodwill. Today, clinking glasses is a common practice in many cultures and countries. While the original purpose of ensuring the purity of drinks has been lost to history, the tradition lives on as a way to bring people together and create lasting memories. Why do we celebrate birthdays? Birthdays are a time for celebration, whether it be a small gathering with family and friends or a grand party with all the trimmings. But have you ever stopped to think about why we celebrate birthdays in the first place? The tradition of celebrating birthdays can be traced back to ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians and Greeks, who recognized the significance of the day a person was born. The Egyptians kept records of important dates, including birthdays, and often celebrated them with feasts and religious ceremonies. Similarly, the Greeks held birthday celebrations for their gods and heroes, and it is believed that they were among the first to introduce the concept of birthday cakes. In medieval Europe, however, the celebration of birthdays fell out of favor as it was seen as a pagan practice. It wasn't until the 18th century that birthday celebrations began to make a comeback, largely due to the influence of German and Dutch folklore. During this time, the Grimm brothers published a collection of fairy tales that often featured characters celebrating their birthdays with great festivities. This helped to repopularize the tradition, and it soon became common for people to celebrate their birthdays with parties and presents. Today, birthday celebrations are enjoyed by people of all ages and backgrounds. Whether you prefer a quiet celebration with loved ones or a big bash with all your friends, there is no denying the joy and excitement that comes with celebrating another year of life. Why do we use chopsticks? Chopsticks are a common eating utensil used in many Asian countries, but have you ever stopped to think about why they were invented in the first place? Some historians believe that chopsticks were developed as a way to avoid contaminating food with one's fingers. This is particularly relevant in cultures where food is shared among members of the community. Chopsticks also allowed for more precise and hygienic handling of food, especially when it came to serving dishes that required attention to detail. Another theory suggests that chopsticks were inspired by the antlers of deer, which were seen as a symbol of masculinity and power in Chinese culture. These early forms of chopsticks were likely made from bone or wood and were used primarily for serving rather than eating. It wasn't until later that they evolved into the long, thin sticks we recognize today. During the Tang Dynasty, chopsticks became more widely used and were depicted in art and literature. As trade routes expanded, chopsticks also spread to other countries, such as Korea and Japan, where they adapted the use of chopsticks to suit their own culinary traditions. Today, chopsticks are an integral part of dining etiquette in many Asian countries and are often seen as a symbol of the rich cultural heritage of these regions. As we come to the end of this video, we hope you have enjoyed learning about the fascinating histories behind everyday habits you might have taken for granted. From the ancient origins of handshaking to the surprising evolution of birthday celebrations, each tradition has a unique story to tell. So the next time you find yourself shaking hands with a new friend, clinking glasses for a toast, or indulging in a birthday cake, Take a moment to appreciate the rich history and cultural significance of these traditions. And who knows, you might even discover some new insights that will make you look at everyday life in a whole new light. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more thought-provoking videos that will challenge your perceptions and expand your knowledge. Keep asking questions, seek answers, and explore your world.